Hi there, welcome back. How are you today? So, it's been a while since I've been able to sit and record some videos. I've been busy creating the gorgeous courses that my spirit team has guided me to create for you. And in the last few weeks actually, but mostly in this last week, I've just been given this wonderful awareness as to why they wanted me to create these gorgeous courses for you. Now, what came through was imagining, you see, because for 30 years I've been teaching piano, right? So imagine you want to learn how to play the piano. This is something you really desire within yourself. You've always wanted to learn how to play piano. Now you have many different options. The first option is, okay, I can go online and teach myself. There are all these free tuitions online. And you go on there and you work at your own pace. Slowly, but surely. You're still learning the piano, but very slowly, without guidance. Without someone that has the experience showing you an easier way, a shorter way to get to where you want to get to. So perhaps you will be on these free online courses, and in 5 years' time of committing to learning the piano, you may be at, say, a stage of grade 1 exam levels. In 5 years, if you were my student, you would be at a grade 3 level. Maybe 4, depending on the time you put into practice, depending on your commitment. But the difference is, and this was the most beautiful thing that's been coming through in the last few weeks, these courses are here to save you time. Why? Why is that important, do you think? Time is the most valuable thing we have in this life. The most valuable. Money comes and goes. Our health will come and go. But time, the time that we spend learning things, doing things, we don't get that time back. It's spent, so to speak. Money can come back. Hey, you've spent your money, that money can come back. You're not feeling well, that health can come back. You can be healthy again. But the time that is gone, you can never, ever, ever get that back. So it became so clear to me in the last few weeks why my beautiful team has been guiding me to create all these beautiful courses. And it is to save you time. To save you time. I know this firsthand as a piano teacher. When I have a student, as soon as they make a mistake, I can correct it in that moment and save them weeks and weeks and weeks of making that error over and over and over. And the most difficult part is that when that student picks up that mistake and they've done it for a few weeks, it is so difficult to undo because it's already been practiced that way. So difficult to let go of. They have to undo that learning. And I know for me firsthand, all the beautiful courses that I've done, every single one I have gained. I have gained and I have saved, I don't know how many years. If I'd have just sat, I have spiritual friends that to them, if it doesn't come directly from source, they're not interested. They're not interested in doing courses. To them, they have all the information of the world already within them. And that's it. They just sit there and they wait for that information to come in. They expect it to come in a certain way. For me, it is all spirit. All of it is spirit. You are spirit. If I get a message from you, I pay attention. When I get questions from you, I pay attention. Because these questions are meant for me. Your comments are meant for me. Not just for me to reply, but I expand every time I receive a comment and a question, and I allow my beautiful spirit team to come through and answer. I expand with the knowledge as well. So it serves me as well as serving you. Nothing is wasted. So, my beautiful beings, I know that with, some of the courses I've done have cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And at the time, I had people tell me, no, like my husband, my mother-in-law, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that course. They didn't want me spending all that money. To them, it was too much. But in my heart, in my spirit, I felt that I needed that it was part of my path. Because deep down, your soul, your higher self, whatever it is you want to call it, is guiding you. It guided you here. It's not an accident that you are here. It's not a coincidence. You are here because there is information here, and your soul wants you to remember that. It's not about learning or relearning. It's about remembering. So, my beautiful beings, today we put it to you. How valuable is your time? Do you want to spend the next 10 years as you are now in this place in your life? Are you happy? Are you comfortable with where you are? Only you can answer that question. I know for me, I'm always looking to expand, always looking to grow, to know more, to know better. What if I'd never done the beautiful Reiki course with Melissa? And I wouldn't have all this gorgeous information inside of me that came from doing that Reiki course. The knowing that came from doing that gorgeous Reiki course was the most important thing for me. You see, one of the questions I've received this week is, how do you know when your spirit guides are talking to you? How do you know that that's real? How do you know that that information it's really them talking to you? How do you know that you're really having this conversation? And for me, that really it became solid for me once I started doing the Reiki. Because through doing the distance healings, I got to witness when the other person would come back and tell me what they had seen, what they had heard, the information that came through. And I could see that that was exactly what I had seen without telling them. Because originally when I first started doing the Reiki healings, I didn't know that these visions that I was receiving, the information that I was receiving was real either. I would just sit there and go, whoa, that was amazing, because it made me feel amazing. The energies that were coming through as I was receiving these beautiful visions, this beautiful information, the words that I would receive. I could feel myself expand every single time. And then I was blessed because the person receiving that beautiful healing would come back and tell me what they'd seen, what they'd witnessed, what they had heard. And every time I would receive confirmation that what I had seen, what I had heard was real. Because how could this person know what I had seen and what I had heard? I hadn't shared it. They were coming back with their experience. And so many times, I'm talking hundreds, because I've done thousands of Reiki distance healings by now. And there were hundreds that would come back and they would relay, many people were private. They didn't want to share what they received, the information, or maybe they didn't see and hear anything. A lot of people don't. But for those that did receive something, either visual or verbal or something, sometimes it was colors. One of the first sessions where I was blown away is that when I do my Reiki sessions, I work from the top crown. I work with the 7 chakras. So I work with the crown first. I work my way down to the root chakra. And that was all we were taught with the Reiki healing that I did with the course, to just do them one way and you're done. But through my beautiful sound healing, my teacher there would spin each chakra in its respective color. And for some reason, I was guided from the very beginning to do that. Once I did each chakra and I received the information for each one, I would reach the bottom and I would spin them in their respective colors. And many times I would see if there was an imbalance, if I couldn't spin it, or if it wasn't spinning, or if it was tilted. You know, sometimes they would tilt when they were spinning instead of just a beautiful spin, a harmonious spin that you knew, oh, it's in alignment, it's good, it's in the flow, you know. So that was something that I added to it from a sound healing course that I had done months before my Reiki course. It wasn't something part of the Reiki course. I was just guided by my team to add that. Do the chakras going down, get the information, and then spin them on the way back up to see if they're in alignment, if they're spinning beautifully, you know. One of the sessions I got back, the person was telling me on the other side that she could see colors. She said to me, first she could see the red, she said, and it was spinning. She said, and then she could see the orange and then the yellow, and then in the order. She told me exactly the order that I do them in on the way up. She says, I don't know what this means. She said, but that's what I saw. Colors, spinning. And even just that, you know, for me was like, whoa, she could see the colors spinning. And that was something that I added that wasn't part of the course. You know, all these beautiful confirmations I was receiving. Now, I often sit back and think to myself, what if I hadn't done that course? And I didn't have all those beautiful confirmations. I'd still be sitting here wondering what these visions are that I see. Yes, they're beautiful. And they make me feel amazing every time they come through. They really do. But why am I seeing them? Why am I receiving this information? You know, the very first confirmation I received was with that course that I did that cost thousands and thousands. And my family was like, are you crazy spending all that money? You could buy a car with that. And in that beautiful course was the first time I had a confirmation with Archangel Michael. It was this gorgeous meditation that we were guided to do. And Archangel Michael came in, and it was a meditation for love. And at the end of it, we asked Archangel Michael, we were guided to ask, was what I was going to say. So we asked Archangel Michael for a symbol, that when we saw that symbol, we would know it was him, and we would know that it was this meditation of love. It would remind us of this, that this is what we are, this beautiful love, right? So at the time I received a symbol, you know, I'm waiting there thinking, oh, I'm going to get a love heart, or I'm going to get something to do with love. You know, love heart was in my head. But then I received this huge symbol of a pentagram. And I remember thinking, what? You know, it's like, no, surely you mean a love heart, right? And here I am arguing in my mind with Archangel Michael. And he didn't say anything, but that's all I kept seeing. Right in front of me, and it was clear symbol, pentagram. And I thought, and even then I heard the word pentagram when I started arguing with him. But don't you mean a love heart? Don't you mean something to do with love? When I see it, I'll remember this is... Anyway, pentagram. I thought, for the life of me. And I spent nights not sleeping thinking, why a pentagram? What does that even mean? So a few days later, I even got up, went online and looked up the definition of pentagram. What does it mean? What's the symbolism of it? All of that. And originally what I got was that it was a symbol of faith. And it was used way back in the ancient Greeks, you know. But that's what I got, symbol of faith. And I thought, oh, but not love. You know, well, we were meant to receive a symbol for love. So again, I started arguing with him backwards and forth, you know, that, but are you sure this is the symbol you want to give me? You know, and after a couple of weeks, I thought, oh, you know what? I thought, I'm making this up in my mind. Why am I having this argument with this imaginary being that's in my head, right? So I thought, I put it away. I just cast it aside, and I thought, no, this is just you know, this is silly. Why am I having this argument with myself, basically? So a couple of months passed, and I get a call at about 8 o'clock at night, or 7:30, I forget. It was after dinner. And my mother-in-law had been taken to the hospital. She'd had this heart problem, and she, you know, went to the hospital. She called the ambulance. They brought her in, and she was asking if I could take her home. And I, of course, you know, of course I'd go. So I went, I picked her up, I took her back home. By the time, because you know what hospitals are like, by the time they discharged, this was like after 9 o'clock at night that I got home. And our routine at nighttime is that one of the last things I do is I take the dogs out to the back for them to relieve themselves before we go to bed, right? To do their toilets, as I call it. Toilet, you know, they'll go running outside. And as I stepped outside, in our backyard, there's a whole section that's concrete. There's a few steps, there's a slab that's concrete, and then it's all grass at the back, right? There's the grass area for the dogs. That whole slab of concrete out the back when I got there was covered in black pentagrams. And when I got over the shock that I was looking at least 8, 9, 10, I lost count of how many there were all over the floor. I stepped down from the steps and turned, as I'm bringing the dogs back in, I'm looking, and they're on the wall of the house as well. And in the next few days, I found that there were even some on the walls next door, but, you know, of the side of the house and this little fence thing that we have there. And I came running back in, and I said to my husband, why are there stars all over the floor at the back, you know? And he said, oh, I was just teaching our daughter how to draw a star. But, you know, you start from one point and you draw this special star in one line without picking up the pen or the pencil from, you know, the paper. In this case, the chalk that they were using on the concrete. It wasn't actually chalk. It was burnt, it was like coal. It was burnt firewood that we had at the back. So that's why they were black. But they'd spent the night while I was out with Grandma, you know, drawing all these pentagrams. That's what they're called, on the concrete. And I remember that night I went to bed and I just found myself crying, you know, because I realized in that moment, Archangel Michael didn't give me a love heart because I was going to see those everywhere. And it was going to be like well, I imagined this. It's not real. If it was a love heart. Because of course love hearts are everywhere. You're going to find them everywhere. But pentagrams are not something that you find everywhere. It's very rare that you see them unless you're actually looking for them. And by that stage, like I said, this was like 2 months later. I had stopped even thinking about it because I thought, well, I'm imagining it. I'm making this up in my mind. You know, what's the point of having this conversation anymore? It's not real. That's what I thought at the time. And then to come home that day and to find all those pentagrams, I finally understood what it meant to have faith. He gave me that symbol because he knew that I was not going to find it everywhere. And that when it appeared, and it appeared, there was over a dozen of them, I would know that we really had that conversation, that I didn't make it up in my head, that it was real. That was the whole point of that beautiful conversation that I had with Archangel Michael. So, my beautiful beings, trust. Trust. If you are being called to do any courses, whether they're mine or not, trust that your soul brought you to them for a reason. And many times that reason is to save time, because it's the most precious thing that we have here in this life. Like I said, money will go, but money can come back. Your health can go. You know, like when you get a cough or a cold or a flu or COVID, like when I had COVID. And that lasted weeks and weeks. I was so sick. But that passes and your health comes back. Time is the one thing that does not. So, my beautiful beings, this is what I've been shown. This is what the books were created for, that your soul would find the information it needed. It will remind you, this is your path. This is part of your path. You need this for your journey. All right, my beautiful beings. We love you dearly. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the beautiful messages coming through. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.